Lady Lucan was asked if she'd like to see her husband again, despite what had happened.
I always hoped to, but I have a feeling that I won't see him again. I don't think he'll come back. He'll have made another life for himself.
Fascination, mystery, and unanswered questions surround some of history's most famous disappearances. From heiresses lost at sea to baffling crimes, these cases continue to captivate, and no one knows what truly happened. Here are some of the most puzzling vanishings that still leave the world guessing.
Oh, look at that. Hey, yo!
You're sick.
You see what happened to him?
Shawn Flynn. The son of Hollywood icon Errol Flynn, Shawn was also a photojournalist, explorer, and actor. His fearless pursuit of hazardous assignments during the Vietnam War ultimately led to his disappearance on April 6, 1970, while he was reporting on the conflict in Cambodia. Thanks to his father's influence, Shawn received numerous opportunities to build an acting career, making his debut at 15 on an episode of Errol's television series, The Errol Flynn Theater. Shawn's shift to journalism came from growing disillusionment with acting, as he sought a more meaningful and daring career of his own. He eventually joined a group of high-risk photographers who frequently ventured into combat zones to capture striking images. Shawn and his colleague Dana Stone, reporting for CBS, were captured by members of the Viet Cong while traveling by motorcycle to a press conference in Saigon. Their whereabouts remain unknown. Tammy Lynn Leppert. Lynn was a successful actress, model, and beauty queen before her disappearance on July 6, 1983, at just 18 years old. She gained fame in the pageant world, winning over 280 crowns from nearly 300 competitions. She soon transitioned into modeling, appearing for CoverGirl magazine in October 1978. Lynn appeared in several films, with her most notable role being in Scarface in 1983. After filming Spring Break, she attended a weekend party alone and returned a different person, according to Wing Flanagan, one of her closest friends. Months before she vanished, Tammy reportedly showed signs of mental strain, including a fear of being harmed. She was examined at a medical center and cleared of drug or alcohol use, but her unusual behavior continued. The model was last seen in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Her mother spent years searching for answers, considering suspects such as serial killer Christopher Wilder and kidnapper John Crutchley. In 1985, Cocoa Beach detective Harold Lewis reported receiving 2 anonymous phone calls claiming that Tammy was alive and working toward a career as a nurse. Jean Spangler. Spangler was a talented American actress and dancer born in Seattle, Washington. She vanished on October 7, 1946, at the age of 26. She was beginning to establish herself in show business, working as an extra in productions such as 1948's When My Baby Smiles at Me and the 1949 comedy Chicken Every Sunday. On the evening she disappeared, Spangler told her sister-in-law that she planned to meet her ex-husband to discuss child support and then attend a late-night film shoot. She was last seen at a grocery store. 2 days later, her purse was discovered in Griffith Park, its strap torn, along with a cryptic note addressed to a man named Kirk, mentioning a visit to Dr. Scott. At the time, some speculated that Spangler may have been involved in a botched abortion, a practice not uncommon in post-war Los Angeles. Other theories included ties to the Mafia or actor Kirk Douglas, though no solid evidence ever supported these claims. Joe Pichler. The former child actor, best known for his roles in Varsity Blues and the early 2000s Beethoven 3 and 4 films, disappeared at just 18 on January 5, 2006. Pichler had moved to Los Angeles as a child to pursue acting, which began promisingly with appearances in at least 14 movies and TV shows as a supporting performer. At his parents' request, he put his acting career on hold in 2003 to complete high school in his hometown of Bremerton, Washington. Pichler's silver Toyota Corolla was discovered 4 days after he vanished. Inside, a note revealed his wish to become stronger and to have his belongings passed to his younger brother. While the lead investigator believes the case may involve self-harm, Pichler's body was never recovered, leaving the circumstances of his disappearance unresolved. Glenn Miller. Major Glenn Miller was one of America's most beloved musicians, famous for his swing orchestra and hits like In the Mood and Chattanooga Choo Choo. Born in 1904, Miller became a trombone player, composer, and bandleader whose music defined the 1930s and 1940s. When the United States entered World War II, Miller joined the Army Air Forces, rising to the rank of captain and leading a military band. His mission was to boost troop morale, performing for soldiers and broadcasting over the BBC. In 1944, after the D-Day landings, Miller and his orchestra moved to Bedford, England, narrowly avoiding deadly bombings in London thanks to actor David Niven's help. On December 15, 1944, Miller boarded a small C-64 Norseman plane at RAF Twinwood to fly to Paris ahead of his band. With him were Lieutenant Colonel Norman Biasel and Flight Officer John R. Stewart Morgan. The plane vanished over the English Channel and was never found. Theories ranged from enemy attack to mechanical failure, but most evidence points to icing or engine trouble in poor weather. Miller's disappearance shocked the world, leaving his orchestra and fans in mourning. His music remains the anthem of the greatest generation, a lasting legacy of joy and hope in dark times, even decades after he was lost without a trace. Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart made history as the first female aviator to fly solo non-stop across the Atlantic Ocean. A trailblazing icon and acclaimed author, she championed commercial air travel and penned numerous best-selling books about her aerial adventures. Driven by a passion for breaking boundaries and setting records, she embarked on her final flight on July 2, 1937. Her ambitious goal was to become the first woman to circumnavigate the globe by plane. Earhart boarded a Lockheed Model 10E Electra with her navigator, Fred Noonan. They were last spotted in Lae, New Guinea, during their final stop before the journey's fateful stretch. Investigators believe the aircraft ran out of fuel over the central Pacific Ocean, crashing near Howland Island. Earhart was officially declared dead 1 year and 6 months after she and Noonan disappeared. Connie Converse. Elizabeth Eaton Converse, better known by her stage name Connie, is regarded as one of the first modern singer-songwriters, as well as a gifted composer, poet, and writer. She vanished on August 10, 1974. According to Howard Fishman, her biographer, a series of personal setbacks deeply affected her mental health, leading to severe depression. This ultimately prompted her to pack her belongings into her Volkswagen Beetle and drive away, never to be seen again. Friends and family recall that Connie, a lesbian, felt rejected both personally and professionally by her religious parents. She found comfort writing for the Journal of Conflict Resolution, but lost her position after the offices relocated to Yale in 1972. Despite her family's efforts to find her, the private investigator they hired reported that he could not bring her back and advised them to respect her choice to disappear. Lord Lucan. Richard John Bingham, the 7th Earl of Lucan, widely known as Lord Lucan, vanished after allegedly attempting to kill his wife on November 7, 1974. The 39-year-old had been involved in a bitter custody dispute with his wife, Veronica Duncan, following their marital breakdown. Lucan struggled with gambling addiction and heavy drinking, which eventually forced him to leave their family home. On the night of the incident, Veronica and their children were having dinner while their nanny, Sandra Rivet, was preparing tea in the basement kitchen. Lady Duncan grew concerned when she did not return after a while. When she went downstairs to check on Sandra, she found the kitchen dark and was struck on the head by a blunt object. "Be quiet," she heard, later identifying the voice as her husband's. Frightened, Veronica ran into the street for help, shouting, "I've just escaped from being murdered! He's in the house! He's killed the nanny!" When authorities arrived, they discovered the nanny's body in a sack alongside a bloodied lead pipe. Reports indicate Lord Lucan fled from London to Sussex and was never seen again. Barbara Newhall Follett. Celebrated as a child prodigy novelist, Barbara Newhall Follett published her first book, The House Without Windows, at just 12 years old. She followed this with The Voyage of the Normandy in 1928, when she was 14. Described by historians as a child of nature, Barbara often showed a deep appreciation for the wilderness in her stories and poems. Highly sensitive, she was emotionally devastated when her father left her mother for another woman, which also impacted the family's finances. She continued writing while working as a secretary in New York City during the Great Depression, but her later novels, Lost Island and Travels Without a Donkey, did not receive the acclaim of her earlier works. Barbara met Nickerson Rogers in 1931 and spent that summer walking the Appalachian Trail to the Massachusetts border. The couple later traveled to Spain and Switzerland, exploring the Alps and other natural landscapes. They married in July 1934, and although their marriage began happily, Barbara confided in close friends about her growing dissatisfaction with life. By 1938, she suspected her husband of infidelity and fled her home the following year, never to be seen again. Weldon Kees. Kees was an American painter, jazz pianist, filmmaker, and poet. He became recognized as an icon of the Beat generation in mid-20th century American culture, with his works regularly appearing in publications like The New Yorker and Time. Despite his creative achievements, Kees struggled with personal challenges and is known to have suffered from manic depression. He vanished on July 18, 1955, in San Francisco. Rumors suggested he may have taken his own life after his car was found abandoned on the Marin County side of the Golden Gate Bridge, but with no body recovered, nothing was confirmed. His legacy remains enveloped in mystery to this day, with friends later telling local outlets that Kees had mentioned either wanting to jump from the bridge or leave for Mexico and never return. Christina McKechnie. Better known by her stage name Licorice, the Scottish musician and former member of the incredible string band ISB disappeared under mysterious circumstances after hitchhiking across the Arizona desert in 1987. Licorice reached the height of her fame performing at the Woodstock Festival in 1969, but by the late 1980s, she had largely faded from public attention. Reports of her whereabouts are conflicting. Her sister claimed she was in Sacramento, California, recovering from surgery in 1990, while media outlets stated that she had vanished in 1987. Rose Simpson, a fellow former member of ISB, commented, "There's a possibility that she may be dead." Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Although best known for writing the famous children's novella The Little Prince, Antoine was also a journalist, aviator, and poet. His expertise in aviation ultimately led to his disappearance in July 1944, when he undertook a reconnaissance mission from the French island of Corsica over the Mediterranean, preparing for the Allied invasion of southern France. Saint-Exupéry did not accept this mission willingly. Historians note that he was pressured into it by Charles de Gaulle, a French general of the Vichy regime, which Saint-Exupéry opposed. The writer reportedly became depressed over the assignment and began drinking heavily, with members of the Air Force even considering his dismissal due to declining physical and mental health. Though his body was never recovered, a fisherman discovered his silver identity bracelet in September 1998. The wreckage of his plane was later found in May 2000 and is now exhibited at the French Air and Space Museum. Daniel Lind Lagerlöf. The acclaimed Swedish director, screenwriter, and producer was last seen on October 6, 2011, while preparing for a filming project in his native country. Lagerlöf vanished while scouting a location at a nature reserve and is believed to have been swept into the sea by strong waves while walking along slippery rocks near high cliffs in Bohuslän. His disappearance left behind his wife, whom he married in 1997, and their 3 children. With no witnesses or remains, the circumstances remain unclear, but the director has been officially declared dead. Zoe McLellan. The actress, known for her roles in Designated Survivor and NCIS, was accused by her ex-husband, J.P. Gillane, of disappearing with their child. In May 2021, an arrest warrant was issued in Los Angeles County against McLellan on charges of child custody, deprivation, kidnapping, and unlawful removal of a child. The incident occurred amid an ongoing custody dispute dating back to 2017. According to Ghislaine, she took their then 4-year-old son, Sebastian, to Toronto without his permission. McLellan has been missing since April 2019, not appearing in any projects and reportedly living under a different identity. Fans have debated conflicting theories about her disappearance. Some believe she acted to protect her son from harm, while others argue she acted maliciously and may face arrest once located by authorities. Richey Edwards. The guitarist for the Welsh alternative rock band Manic Street Preachers vanished on February 1, 1995. Edwards served as the band's primary lyricist and openly shared his struggles with depression in interviews, using his music as a means to express his inner turmoil. On the day he disappeared, he was scheduled to travel to the U.S. with the band, but his abandoned car was discovered near the Severn Bridge, a location notorious for previous fatalities. Edwards' body was never recovered, although some fans have reported sightings of him in India and the Canary Islands. Their lives vanished, but their stories linger. Echoes of courage, creativity, and mystery that time cannot erase. Thank you for watching.